Mii Of A Kind is a game mode where you swap Miis with your own, trying to earn as many points as possible each set. This goes on for either 3 or 5 sets depending on the mode chosen, and by the end, the player with the most points wins. Each player has 6 Miis. Each Mii will have a corresponding colour and gender, shown by whether they have trousers or a dress. Your aim is to have 2 3 of a kinds. The first player to do this each set will earn points, getting extra for having things like a 3 of a kind being their colour and so on. Once a 3x2 has been reached, or 5 rounds have passed if no one gets a 3x2, the set is over and everyone is given their respective scores. Players who don't get the 3x2 can still earn points or bonuses, so don't worry about not being able to stop someone winning. At the beginning of each set, every player is given 6 Miis of random colour and gender. You cannot have a trio out of these random Miis, so the best you can have are 3 pairs of Miis. Each round, 4 Miis will stand in the middle podium, showing you what may be up for grabs in the next minigame. The first 2 Miis will be shown what colour or special Mii they have. The other 2 Miis are hidden except for their gender, but they can be any Mii, including ones like Clear Mii. When you select these Miis, their colour or type will be shown. At the start of each round, there will be a 4-player minigame to decide turn order. Roll-offs will still occur in this game mode. Getting first is always best, as you get more options when choosing Miis. When you select a Mii, you can either choose what Mii you will get rid of and replace it with the Mii you selected, or if the Mii doesn't work in your set, you can pass it, ending your turn with no changes. Most Miis in Mii Of A Kind are one of the 5 regularly coloured Miis, 1 for each player colour and purple. However, there are extra Miis within the game mode that could be good to get. Platinum Miis function exactly like regular coloured Miis, however if you have 3 platinums, you will earn bonus points, considerably more if you get a 3x2. Clear Miis will let you choose the front or back row. Choosing them will clear all 3 of those Miis and replaces them with 3 new Miis of random colour and gender. However, these Miis cannot all be the same colour. You can however get 2 of them be the same colour, including platinum Miis. This is generally best when you don't have any pairs or a 3 of a kind yet, allowing players that are behind to get back into the game. Pass this if you have at least a pair in your front and back row and you don't want to risk it, unless someone is about to get a 3x2, in which case you can risk it trying to get a 1 to go. Wild Miis let the player choose what colour the Mii can be out of the 5 regular colours, so this cannot be used to get a platinum. This is extremely valuable even if you just need a platinum, as you can choose this to sabotage other players. Trade Miis are the best Mii in this game mode by far. When you select this Mii, you can choose any single Mii from another player. You will take their Mii to put in your own selection, and their Mii is replaced with a special white Mii. White Miis do absolutely nothing. Even if you had 3 white Miis, it wouldn't count as a trio. This Mii is what you should attempt to strategize your 6 Miis around. Try to have your Miis be as good as possible for you, while attempting to make sure your opponents don't have any possible Miis to steal. When earning points in the game, the bonuses are dependent on whether you got the 3x2 or not. If you're not at a 1 to go, you will earn 0 points. Being at a 1 to go, meaning you can win after getting 1 or Mii of a certain colour, will give you 2 points. All of the bonuses for a non-winner are 1 point instead, meaning the max score for a non-winner is having 3 platinums of the same gender and being at a 1 to go, which will earn you 4 points. At minimum, you can have nothing. If you win, however, you will earn a baseline of 6 points for getting a 3x2, and bonuses will give a lot more points. 6 of a kind is when all your Miis are the same colour. This is incredibly hard to get and rewards you with 4 extra points. Generally, this isn't worth going for unless your opponents are really behind and you get lucky. Platinums are when 3 of your Miis are platinum coloured. You will earn 3 points for each platinum trio, so if all your Miis are platinum, you will earn 6 points from a platinum bonus. This is highly rewarding, but also risky if other players are going for platinums, as they can steal yours with a trade Mii. My colour bonuses are when a trio is the same colour as your Mii. This will earn you 2 points. 4 if all 6 Miis are that colour. This is great to go for as there is less risk of your colour being stolen, as it is less valuable to other players, and you can get this colour from a wild Mii. Gender bonuses are when a trio is the same gender, earning you 2 points per trio of the same gender. If all 6 Miis are the same gender, or if one trio is boys and one trio is girls, you will earn 4 points. Don't attempt to go out of your way for this, but treat it like how it should be treated, a bonus. For example, when revealing mystery Miis, choose the one that is the same gender as the trio you're going for. This means that while a minimum possible score for a 3x2 is 6 points, this is having 2 trios of a different colour to your Mii that isn't platinum, and each trio containing at least one boy and one girl. The maximum possible score in one round is having 6 platinum Miis, either all being the same gender, or one trio having 3 boys and another having 3 girls. This would give 20 points in a single set. When it comes to minigames, always attempt to come first. The only reason you ever shouldn't is if your opponent would win next round and you want to sabotage them to give yourself and others a chance at winning. Your priority should be trying to complete a set as fast as possible. Do that with existing pairs you already have. However, if you have multiple choices, your priorities are 1. Completing a trio, 2. Getting Miis of your colour, 3. Getting a platinum. Try to go for trios that others aren't going for. That way, you can throw those Miis away, making trade Miis less valuable for your opponents and making yourself less of a target. Trade Miis are by far the best Miis in the game. Worst case, they're a wild Mii that can also take platinums. Best case, you can use it to both sabotage someone and take Miis that you need at the same time. Prioritize taking Miis you need over ones that others need more. However, if you have multiple choices, go for the target that's either closest to the 3x2 or has the most points from previous sets. Wild Miis are very useful. The only reason you wouldn't take one is if you're going for a platinum trio and you already have your first trio. But the only reason I wouldn't take a wild Mii is if there is a Mii that completes your 3x2 on the podium that is the gender that you're going for, or is a platinum. Even if you're going for platinums, I'd suggest taking the wild Mii and discarding it, or replacing the remaining Mii with one of your character's colour. Clear Miis should be used when a row doesn't contain any pairs with any of your other Miis, as there is still a chance you can get 2 of the same kind of Miis, so I'd say it's better than choosing a mystery Mii in this case. If all of your Miis don't match up, clear Miis are most likely your best bet, even if there is a Mii that matches one of your existing Miis. In this case, I would still prioritise wild Miis and trade Miis, as this sabotages others more. Even if you have 2 mystery Miis, look at your existing Miis. If you have any Miis that are the same colour and also the same gender, try to choose the one that has the same gender as those Miis. In the case that the colour matches, you can earn bonus points. I would suggest going against getting platinums unless you start off with 2 or you start with 1 and there is a platinum available. Otherwise it is too time consuming and risky to do. In conclusion, Mii of a Kind generally favours players that do better in minigames as they have more possibilities. Your main strategy is keeping the Miis you want, but for any Miis you don't want, replace them with Miis your opponents would want even less. Spin-off is a game mode where each player takes turns spinning the wheel. Whatever space the wheel lands on will trigger an effect. The aim is to have as many medals by the end of the game. The main way of earning medals is by having them build up in the bank and winning those in bank battles. At the start of the game, all players are given 500 medals, and the wheel is initially less frantic, with some slight focus on building the bank up slightly, with a few plus and minus medal spaces. Every time the bank is emptied, initially it is refilled to 500 medals. At the start of the 5th round, the wheel is changed up to have many more bank multiplier spaces, allowing the bank to reach much bigger amounts. The lucky space is also added here. From here onwards, the bank will be refilled to 1000 medals instead. At the start of round 8, the player in last will be allowed to choose the minigame in 4-player minigames from a selection of 3. The wheel is also changed again to have more half medal spaces, but also a lot of spaces for building up the bank and 1v1s. When the 10th round ends, the game goes into extra time, where the game will either keep playing until someone wins all medals in the bank, or when 10 rounds have passed. The game has a lot of minus segments here to allow for anyone with a massive lead to lose a lot of medals for someone else to win in a minigame. The lucky space also disappears here. Additionally, when the bank reaches 99,999 medals, it will immediately force a 4-player minigame for all the medals. Blue medal spaces will give you medals from the bank. These are always plus 300. They are never a bad decision to land on. If the bank has under 300 medals, it gives you all the medals in the bank. Red medal spaces take your medals and place them in the bank. There are minus 300, which take a fixed 300 medals, and half spaces, which will take half of your medals. The half spaces are by far the most punishing in the game, especially if you won big. Avoid these at all costs. Bank spaces simply add more medals to the bank. These can range from adding a flat value such as 500 to multiplying the amount of medals in the bank by 2 or 3. Multiple bank multipliers can make the bank go up to massive amounts, causing the player to win it to have a giant lead. 1 versus 3 battle spaces will make the player that landed on it compete in a 1 versus 3 against the other 3 players. If the 1 player wins, they will win the entire bank. However, if the 3 players win, they split the bank between them. This is an extremely good space to land on, as you can generally win 1v3s more often than the 3 players. However, if you lose, having the bank split 3 ways means you're not left that far behind. 4-player battle spaces will make all 4 players compete in a 4-player minigame. Whoever wins earns all the medals in the bank. However, this game does not give roll-offs for 4 players. Instead, if multiple players win, they split the bank between them. This is a good option, especially to stop the bank building up to a massive amount if you're in the lead. And they're also good when you're in last near the end of the game, as you can choose minigames that you're better at when on round 8 or later. 1 versus 1 spaces let you choose who to battle in a 1v1. If you win, you take half of their medals, otherwise nothing happens. This is the best space to get if another player has a massive advantage over everyone else. The lucky space is one of the best spaces you can get in all scenarios. It turns the wheel into one containing some X spaces, mostly half spaces, and some win spaces. X spaces will make you win nothing. Half spaces will give you half the medals in the bank, and win spaces give you all medals in the bank. You should mainly aim for this space, however if you wish to play it safer and not risk landing on minus spaces, you can go for other spaces instead. In Spin-Off, your strategy comes from spinning the wheel. While it can be hard to control due to the Wii Remote's motion controls, you're still able to control the spin to a considerable degree. Try to split your spins into left and right spins, and slow and fast spins. If there is a space around 5 to 6 spaces away, doing a slow spin in that direction can land on it. If it is further, perhaps try a hard spin in the other direction. Try getting a feel for the spins, and soon you'll be able to control to a degree where you're not depending on luck. For example, I managed to get all of these in consecutive turns. In general, if you're looking to win a lot of medals when the bank has gotten big, go for the lucky space and the 1 versus 3 space, as those are the easiest to win at. If a player has gotten incredibly far ahead, try to land on 1v1 spaces and battle them for a chance at winning their medals. 1v1 should almost always be against the furthest ahead player, as there is no penalty for a loss. If you're very far ahead, play it safer on the wheel, keep getting constant plus medals, and have bank battles come so often that the bank can never build up to the point where a player can match your medals in a big win. That way, you only have to worry about an accidental half space or losing a 1v1. Bingo is a game mode where each player chooses a 4x4 bingo card containing 16 Miis. Your aim is to mark Miis off your card so that you have a horizontal, vertical, or a diagonal line of Miis, resulting in a bingo. At the start of the game generates 6 cards for the players to choose from. You cannot choose the same card as another player. Generally there is no strategy here, but consider which player out of the other 3 is generally best at minigames. If they picked a card before you, try to choose a card containing many of the same Miis as them. When the game plays, a bingo ball will be dispensed, and the Mii on that ball is shown. If the Mii is on anyone's card, they will mark that Mii off. If the ball is a minigame ball, all 4 players compete in a 4-player minigame to win. Roll-offs occur, but only for the players who tie in first place. The winner can then choose a Mii on their card to mark off. Miis that are marked off will be marked off on other players' cards too. When a player has 3 out of 4 Miis marked in a line, the game will show that they have 1 to go and highlights the Mii that is needed for them to win. All 1 to goes for a player will be highlighted and shown. Once a player has gotten a bingo, the game ends and that player wins. If multiple people get a bingo with the same Mii, all those players win. In bingo, your strategy comes from what you choose to tick off when you win a minigame. Firstly, it depends on your house rules. If you win a minigame, and you and someone else would win at the same time, then be fine with choosing a 1 to go that someone else needs to win. Otherwise, follow the priorities below. 1. A 1 to go that no one else has. 2. A way of opening up another 1 to go for you. 3. Corner squares and the centre 4 are more valuable than the edge squares. Choose them for a higher chance, preferably ones that line up with existing squares you've ticked off. 4. Miis that are on edges and unimportant squares on other people's boards or aren't on their boards. Generally following this strategy can result in a win. Ensure that whatever you mark off doesn't give someone else another 1 to go or gives them a bingo. Also note that due to this being the shortest party mode, this is generally the easiest way to unlock expert and master CPUs in Wii Party. Just play enough bingo games against advanced and expert CPUs until you're lucky enough to win.